This year, I looked at over 60 guns on the channel, with at least 55 getting full reviews. I'll walk you through my top 5 picks and some of my favorites. What's going on, guys, and Merry Christmas. As 2024 is coming to the end, I wanted to kind of reflect on the year and share with you some of the guns that I thought were some of the better, most meaningful guns that were kind of released this year. And there are a lot of guns. It's incredibly difficult to make a splash with a new product at this point. And I know I've been skipping on the dad jokes somewhat here recently, but I do have one for you. What do you call a snowman with a six-pack? Abdominal snowman. So with any of these kind of lists, there's going to be a measure of controversy because it's completely subjective, and kind of my criteria for picking a gun where it had to do something a little bit different, had to be a little bit better than kind of its peers, kind of had to push the boundary for the category that it's located in. And that's getting increasingly difficult to do as the guns continue to get better and better. It seemed very much like 2024 was the year of the single action only or 2011 style pistol. And that's largely due to kind of the proliferation of everybody sort of realizing all at once that, like, if we use really good CNC programming, we can make 2011s for a lot less labor than we used to be able to. So we are the beneficiaries of that, but even still, a cheaper 2011 is still relatively expensive in the world of guns. I do want to start with kind of an honorable mention, and that would be the Kimber 2K11. What I love about this gun is it's probably my favorite looking gun that I shot this year. Like, I love the aesthetic of this pistol, and it absolutely is a workhorse dressed as a beauty queen. I don't know what the round count is. It's north of 1,000 rounds on it at this point, and there are literally zero defects to talk about, no ammo issues, all reliability is solid. Like, I think it's a great looking pistol. It's well made, a really good gun, but it wasn't quite enough to kind of get it onto the list because, as you see, there are some heavy hitters. So let's get started on the kind of the top 5, and there's not real, well, that's not true. There is going to be a number 1, and we'll call it a 4-way tie for second. So coming in at second is the Bull Armory Tac Pro, and this was the most expensive gun on the list, but the performance from it with the porting that it has from the factory really sort of elevates the shooting experience. A 2011 is very much, in my opinion, largely a range gun that is pleasant to shoot. It's kind of like a muscle car. It's sort of taking over the slot that the 1911 used to occupy, but is slightly more practical, not just the Bull 2011, but kind of all 2011s. But the Bull Tac Pro 2011 gets very much a lot of the same performance as something like a Staccato XC at approximately half the price. It's super accurate, super fun to shoot, super stable, and super hard to get a hold of. But once you do, they are pretty special guns. IDPA, guys, I think this is probably one of the guns that would exist in sort of the meta for that game and carry optics. And coming in at number 2 on the list, and you'll see a theme, but we'll stop with the single action only guns after this one. It is very much similar to the Bull Armory Tac Pro, and it was the Prodigy Comp 4 1/4. I thought this gun was amazing to shoot. The single large port at the end of the barrel. Technically, it's a compensator because they drill out the rifling underneath the port, but it is a very, very pleasant gun to shoot for roughly 2/3 the price of the Bull Armory Tac Pro. I know that kind of the way the internet works is somebody says something on the internet that is true at one point in history, and then we fast forward for years kind of echoing the same thing over and over and over again, whether it's true or not. This happens literally every day in the gun space. I know that there's a lot of controversy on how the Prodigy started, but it seems like they have them sorted out now, and they generally work pretty well. I've had 3 of them, and there's been no problems with them running from the box. And this gun makes it on the list because it does a lot of the same stuff as the Bull Armory Tac Pro, and kind of lesser than the Staccato XC, but at a much lower price point, and works as a fantastic platform to build upon. I do think that the most fun guns to shoot are 2011s. They're just a really great shooting experience. So the Prodigy Comp kind of hits at a lower price point that a lot more people can get a hold of. You're going to be noticing kind of a theme on some of the features here. But coming in at the number dose spot would be the Shadow System CR920 XP. Now, with the compensators above, that's just kind of fun. The compensators on the big guns do make them shoot a little bit nicer, but it's not a measured difference. On the slimline guns like the CR920 XP, it absolutely makes a world of difference and really dumbs down the what would generally be more violent recoil and makes the gun shoot absolutely brilliantly. It is one of the most tame shooting, if not the most tame shooting slimline guns on the market. The accuracy is great out of the gun, and the price has come down on these pretty dramatically, where if you're shopping around online, you can find it for, I can't do prices on YouTube now, You can find it well under 4 figures. It's skinny and lightweight, so in my opinion, it's sort of the ultimate compromise gun as far as I'm concerned. Dropping the cost even further is the penultimate gun on the top 5 list, and that is the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0. Now, if you want to watch my review on this video, you're going to have to go on X and follow me there. It's posted there, as well as on Rumble. There was an issue with my version of this gun that talked about something that was wrong with the gun that I fixed myself. YouTube saw that as a violation of their terms and they pulled the video down because they don't understand their own rules. Nothing was modified. The Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0 makes the Pocket 380 something that is shootable and absolutely amazing to shoot. It is super small, lightweight, fits about in the palm of my size XL hands. Not a whole lot bigger than my LCP, but holds way more rounds in it and is easily the most pleasant in the segment to shoot that I have tried. And based on the price that these things sell at, they are an absolute steal in my opinion. And the number 1 gun, this is my favorite gun that I shot all year. It's not a super expensive gun, but it is an expensive gun. And like every once in a while, I'll get a compact that I just absolutely love. I like to shoot. Last year, that was kind of the PX4 Storm. And I think I actually kind of favor this gun slightly more than that one even. And it is the Sig Sauer P229 Legion. I love the P226. I think it's really great shooting. The grip is a little bit too long for me to actually spend a lot of time carrying it. The P229 sort of takes care of that problem for me, but it doesn't give up a lot of the shootability of the P226. The optic cut with that Romeo X I've got mounted on it really drops the optics down, keeps low profile sights on the gun that still have a small co-witness through the optic, and it's just a really nice gun. The grips that come out of the box on it are super usable and keep the gun planted. The gun is not quite as recoil immune as the PX4, but I like the way that the hammer decocks better. I like the grips that are on the gun, and I kind of like the ergonomics of the gun a little bit better. Plus, just the aluminum frame just makes it feel like a little more of kind of like a gun guy's gun than a polymer framed gun does. So the P229, in my opinion, is a gun that is slept on. It is still an excellent gun. It's been really cool. And yes, I bought that. That was my gun. And no, nobody's paying money to get on this list or anything stupid like that. It's just that that's the gun I happen to like the most. So get in the comments section, yell at me what should have been on the list, what shouldn't have been on the list, what am I dumb for including, what am I dumb for not including? Let me know in the comments below. You're one of those people who sat through the last song on a CD to see if there was a hidden track at the end, aren't you? It's cool. I got you. This is the hidden track. These are my favorites for the guns that I shot this year. They aren't necessarily what I would consider for everybody, but guns that, you know, I really enjoyed shooting. So as a bonus to you, I've got 3 other guns that I super enjoyed shooting this year, and they begin now. Unfortunately, these guns have a pretty hefty price tag, but the Bull Armory Spitfire was an upgrade to the old open gun sort of format, has a new gas system with a commander length slide, but still has 5 inches of barrel before the compensator. A little bit shorter, a lot nicer to shoot, and can still run minor ammo if it is a good minor load. The gun is absolutely ridiculous and was a big step up from my Ultimate Racer. It's just a little bit more stable, and that's appreciated in a competition gun. Next on that kind of competition gun vein, this was a really cool gun, and I like the way that it shoots. It's not a marked jump up necessarily from guns that compete with it in its segment, but it accomplishes kind of the same thing in a different way. It's a piston-driven gun, which is kind of interesting, and that is the Logo Arms Creator Evolution Limited Optics. And I shot a match back in February with the gun, and it's just a super fun gun to shoot. At the time, the magazine capacity wasn't quite what it needed to be for sport, but that's been worked out now, so that's all to the good. The gun is just super nice to shoot. There's almost no muzzle climb. It's super accurate, has a great trigger. It's just so exotic. It's kind of like a supercar in the way that everything else is sort of a muscle car. Does the same stuff, gets roughly the same result, but at the same time, it's different enough to be really cool, and that gun is really cool. And my favorite gun that I shot this year, it's not a competition gun, although I did shoot it in a pistol match. It has taken over my #1 slot as my all-time favorite handgun. That is the Desert Eagle in .50. That's right, the 50 AE Desert Eagle. I shot this in a USPSA match mid-year. blew a hole straight through my wallet on ammo cost, but I loved every second of it. It's a truly absurd gun, and it's absolutely great. If you haven't shot a 50 AE Desert Eagle, I can't recommend it enough. It's just completely silly and so fun to do. The Deagle in 50 just puts a smile on the face. Like, it's one of those guns that is just like pure fun from a, you know, application standpoint. The sound that gun makes when it goes off.
More cardboard. Oh my goodness.
The fireball and I guess ring of fire that it throws down range in broad daylight is incredible. Everybody who's on the range with you will turn their head to see what the heck it is going on with you when that gun goes off, because it makes an incredible noise. It's just the sensation of the concussion of the gun going off just washes over you. It really kind of like clears your mind. It's a fantastic gun, super, super fun gun. Completely impractical for pretty much everything, but easily my favorite, possibly ever. What a great gun. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me throughout the year. If you're not subscribed, this would be a great time to do it. Follow me on X if you're over there as well. I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season and a Merry Christmas. Stay warm and safe this holiday, and I'll catch you next year.